My name is Morgan Smith, and the company that I founded is called Cogent Legal. And we currently have offices in Oakland and Sacramento, Seattle, and in Telluride. And we focus on visualizing all different kinds of cases for all different kinds of attorneys for trial. I'm often asked what Cogent Legal does, and it really comes down to two simple things. We help attorneys tell their story of their case, and we help attorneys persuade. My experience of being a litigator for about 17 years is extremely important to what I bring into Cogent Legal and what I wanted to start the company based around. Being able to have the experience of how you work up a case, being able to litigate a case all the way through and into trial and to verdict is a major help in being able to speak with attorneys who are working on cases and being able to help them at a level that is very valuable for what they do. At Cogent Legal, we handle absolutely all kinds of cases. I'm a firm believer in every kind of case can use visual support in order to be able to present the best case that you possibly can for mediation, for trial, and actually for many other kinds of purposes of litigation. I think one of the things that differentiates Cogent from a lot of the other graphic vendors that are out there is the team that we have in place. Having a group of attorneys that have used to be litigating and are now in charge of helping develop the graphics and doing the mock trials that we do and all the other aspects of work is a way in which we can relate to attorneys because we have been there, we have done that, we have tried cases, and we can really relate to all the aspects of what it takes to put that case together in the best possible light to be able to present their stories in a way that really works for them. We have an amazing artist staff at Cogent Legal. It is backed by people who are real specialists in all of the things that they do, from designers to 3D animators to medical illustrators that all have amazing specialties that in today's world of technology that is changing so fast, having people that are really on top of their skill sets and the absolute newest of technology and the way to be able to integrate all of those different aspects into the things that we do is critical. And so our team is amazing. I'm often asked about when attorneys should give us a call. And it's really important to understand that the earlier that you give firms like ourselves a call to get involved in cases, often the better result that you're going to get out of your case is. We can be brought in as early as moments after, if it's say a very serious auto accident, we can be brought in that day in order to be out there as quick as possible to be capturing all the evidence of the scene with laser scans, with drones, with photography, and all the other measures of technology that we use to capture all that evidence at an early stage before people even really have an understanding of what the case is about. Because as the litigation goes along, that evidence can be used to develop during the discovery process, during mediation, during expert work, and all the way into trial. It is absolutely true that especially in today's world, that the vast majority of people are visual learners. It is much easier for a typical juror or mediator or anybody to understand something if it's been put into a simple form to look at visually, as opposed to having someone have to explain the entire thing entirely orally. Now, of course, what really works best is when you are combining those two talents together. Attorneys are incredibly good at speaking and incredibly good at presenting their case. And so our goal is always to meld those things together. I mean, the attorney should be presenting their case orally. They should be talking about it in opening and with the witnesses and every other part of the case. But when you combine that with very understandable graphics that the jury can be referring to while the attorney is doing their job of speaking, that's how you get the best retention, and that's how you get people remembering the case facts much better when they get to the jury room, which can be, as we all know, it can be a week, it can be a month, it can be 3 months. After they have seen that evidence. So anything you can do to give cues that they will be able to remember on closing of, oh, I remember that testimony. I remember what they said. That is crucial so that they can be your advocates in the jury room. If you're an attorney that's dealing with a very serious case, it is really important to think at the early stages about how you are going to be obtaining the evidence that you need to be able to visually show that case and to be able to tell that story that needs to be told about your case. Often what happens is attorneys will wait too long and call us just right before trial when our abilities to suggest different pieces of evidence that they might need in order to really show that story, it's already too late to get it. And so we suggest calling firms like ourselves early on so that we can get involved at the early stages to be able to work with the attorneys in a manner to potentially find and obtain evidence that might be useful to visually show at trial, and to be able to work with that evidence all the way along the process so that you can get the best result, whether it be settled at mediation or whether it goes to trial and you're trying the case. One of the most simple things that attorneys can do to really help the juries or mediators or anybody else retain the information for the longest period of time is basically combining the visuals with the oral description that is being given. Studies have shown that the retention level is about 4 or 5 times higher when you combine them. So a simple example is if you have a witness that's important and you have important testimony, when you put a photograph of the witness up on the screen, when you are talking about their testimony, studies show that people will remember that testimony much better than if you are simply just discussing it. And there are numerous different ways in which that same basic level concept can be used for much more complex parts of a case to be able to allow a jury to retain that information for as long as possible by combining well-done visuals that people can understand simply and with the testimony of the attorneys or others, witnesses talking about it. One of the things that we do at Cogent is we work very closely with all different kinds of experts. We work with accident reconstruction experts, biomechanical experts, construction experts, just you name it, we work with them. If we have an accident reconstructionist, what we will do is basically work with them in order to develop and find out exactly what their opinions are. And that can be done in the form as simple as something written out as to the various speeds of vehicles or whatever is important, or they might have done something much more complex like a complete simulation in a program called PC Crash or other similar programs. Whatever level of work that they have done, we can then take that and take it to a next level and basically create a very realistic reproduction of their opinions that they can use at trial to show the jury what happened in a way that is consistent with their opinions. Once we have had the ability of working with a client once or twice or 3 times, it develops a relationship that makes moving forward on new cases really easy, and we can become an integrated part of their entire process. We certainly find that our ability to integrate with the trial team at whatever level that they want is the type of value that often you are not going to find at any other place than somewhere like Cogent Legal with the deep understanding of the legal process that everybody in the firm has.